Chosen one, stop scrolling right now. There is a meeting already written on heaven's calendar, and your name is on it. Not your neighbor's name, not your pastor's name. Your name, glowing, permanent, unmovable. But here's what breaks my heart. You almost missed this message. You almost kept scrolling because somewhere deep inside, you stopped believing that God still schedules divine appointments for people like you. Let me tell you something that's going to shake you. You feel invisible, don't you? Like the world moved on without asking your permission. Like your best chances walked out the door 20 years ago and never looked back. You've buried dreams in your chest like bodies in a graveyard. You've watched friends disappear, some to death, some to distance, some to silence that hurts worse than death. You've buried pieces of yourself so deep you forgot they were ever alive. But listen to me carefully. While you were burying, heaven was building. Right now, in the courts of eternity, there's a book, ancient, glowing. The kind of book that makes angels hold their breath when God opens it. And on one specific page, your name is written in light so bright it would blind human eyes. Next to your name, a date, a time, a divine appointment you didn't schedule, God did. This isn't about you finally getting your act together. This isn't about you praying the right prayer or fasting long enough. This meeting was decided before you woke up this morning, before you were born. Actually, here's what I'm going to tell you in the next few minutes. Why hell has fought so viciously to delay this meeting, and the 3 signs that prove it's closer than you think. But right now, I need you to do something. If something in your chest just stirred, if you felt that flutter, that whisper saying, "This is for me, don't you dare click off." Comment below where you're watching from. Tell me your city, your state, because I want to see which corners of America God is speaking to in this exact moment. Your meeting is coming, and it's going to change everything. Before I show you what heaven has scheduled, I need to say something that might make you cry. And that's okay, because sometimes tears are the only language honest enough for what we've been carrying. You've been waiting your whole life, haven't you? Waiting for something to finally make sense. Waiting for the phone call that never came. Waiting for the apology you deserved. Waiting for the breakthrough that everyone else seemed to walk into while you stood outside looking through the window. Some of you raised children completely alone. No partner, no help. No one to share the weight when it got too heavy to carry. You did it anyway. You showed up to Little League games and parent-teacher conferences, pretending you had it all together while your heart was splitting down the middle. Some of you buried the love of your life. And nobody tells you about that special kind of loneliness, do they? The kind where half the bed stays cold, where you still cook too much food out of habit, where you catch yourself about to say something funny, then remember, there's no one there to laugh with you anymore. Some of you retired from your job, cashed that final paycheck, got the gold watch and the cake in the break room. But you never really got to rest, did you? Because rest requires peace, and peace requires knowing your life meant something. And late at night, when it's just you and the ceiling fan, you wonder if any of it mattered. Let me tell you what really breaks my heart. You've watched other people meet the right person at the right time. You've seen them stumble into the right opportunity, the right mentor, the right door that swung open like magic. And you stood there clapping for them, genuinely happy for them, while something inside you whispered, "That's not for me anymore. Those things happen to other people." You stopped expecting miracles somewhere along the way. Not because you stopped believing in God, but because hope started to hurt more than resignation. You're tired. I know you are. Tired of prophecies that sound beautiful in church but never seem to arrive at your address. Tired of getting your hopes up one more time, only to have them crushed again. Tired of fighting battles that everyone else seems to avoid. Tired of being the strong one, the faithful one, the one who holds on when letting go would be so much easier. Picture this with me. There's an old train station. You know, the kind wooden benches worn smooth by decades of waiting bodies, paint peeling off the walls, clock on the wall that stopped working years ago. You're sitting on one of those benches. In your hand is a ticket. It's yellowed with age, corners soft and frayed from being held too long. The date on it has faded until you can barely read it anymore. You've watched trains come and go. Hundreds of them, thousands, maybe. Each time you hear the whistle, your heart does that little jump, maybe this one's mine. But every single train pulls away without you. People board, doors close, the platform empties. And you're still sitting there, holding a ticket that feels more like a cruel joke than a promise. Here's what the enemy has been whispering in your ear. You missed it. Your train left the station 20 years ago. You should have gotten on when you had the chance. Now look at you, too old, too tired, too late. That voice sounds so convincing because it's wrapped around just enough truth to make you believe it. Yes, time has passed. Yes, you're older now. Yes, some doors have closed that will never open again. But what if I told you something that's going to crack your heart wide open? What if you were never late at all? What if you were just early to a miracle that needed time to mature? See, you think you've been waiting on God, but what if God has been waiting on the right moment? Not the moment when you're strongest, but the moment when you're most desperate. Not when you have all the answers, but when you've run out of options. Not when you can take credit, but when it's so impossibly late that only divine intervention makes sense. Moses was 80 years old when the burning bush found him. 80. He'd spent 40 years in Pharaoh's palace thinking he was somebody, and 40 years in the desert thinking he was nobody. And it was only when he'd given up on his own strength, his own plans, his own timeline, only then was he ready for what God had been preparing all along. Abraham waited 25 years for Isaac, 25 years of watching his body age past the point of possibility. Every year that passed seemed to mock the promise. But Genesis 21:2 says Sarah conceived at the very time God had promised him. Not early, not late, exactly on time according to heaven's calendar. You think you've been sitting on that bench waiting for nothing. But what if that old train station is actually the threshold between what was and what's about to be? What if that ticket in your hand, the one you thought expired, what if it's been valid this entire time, just waiting for the right train? I need you to understand something that will either break you or make you. The meeting God has scheduled for you was never dependent on your perfect timing. It was dependent on His. If I'm describing your life right now, if you're sitting there feeling seen for the first time in years, don't be ashamed of the tears. Just whisper it, right where you are. That's me, God. This word isn't here to embarrass you. It's here to locate you, because you can't be found if you stay hidden. But here's what you need to know before we go any further. That meeting on heaven's calendar, the one with your name written in light, it's closer than you think. And there are 3 signs that prove it's already in motion. You know what keeps you awake at 3 a.m.? It's not just the aching joints or the medication schedule. It's the voice. That relentless whisper that says, "You're too late, you missed it. Your time ran out somewhere between your 40th birthday and your retirement party." Let me tell you something that's going to shake the foundation of every lie you've believed about your life. You are not operating on the wrong timeline. You've been operating on 2 different clocks, and you didn't even know it. The Bible reveals 2 kinds of time, and understanding this difference will change everything about how you see your life right now. The first kind is called Chronos. That's the clock on your wall, the calendar hanging in your kitchen with doctor appointments circled in red ink, the birthdays that keep coming whether you want them or not, The anniversaries that remind you who's no longer sitting across the table. That's Chronos, time measured, counted, running out. But there's another kind of time that heaven operates on. It's called Kairos. And Kairos doesn't care about your birth certificate. Kairos is God's appointed time. It's the moment when years of waiting suddenly collide with one divine decision. It's when everything you thought was wasted gets redeemed in a single encounter. It's when the clock stops mattering and destiny starts happening. You've been watching Chronos your whole life, counting down, feeling like you're losing the race. But God has been watching Kairos, waiting for the exact moment when your character matches your calling. Think about Moses, 80 years old when God showed up in that burning bush. 80. The man had been a prince, then a murderer, then a shepherd who smelled like sheep for 4 decades. If Moses had been watching Chronos, he would have said, "God, I'm too old, send someone younger." But God was watching Kairos. And at 80, Moses was finally ready to lead a nation that had been in bondage for 400 years. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Your age isn't your disqualification. It's your preparation. Abraham was 75 when God told him to pack up everything and start walking toward a promise he couldn't see. 75. Sarah was 90 when she gave birth to Isaac. 90. Anna, the prophetess, was 84 when she recognized the Messiah in the temple. These weren't accidents. These were Kairos moments wrapped in bodies that Chronos said were finished. But here's what America will never tell you, because America worships youth and throws away wisdom. This culture will look at your gray hair and see decline. This society will look at your wrinkles and see weakness. This world will look at your age and write you off as irrelevant. But heaven? Heaven sees your scars and calls them credentials. Heaven sees your years and calls them authority. Heaven sees your experience and says, Now you're ready for what I've been preparing since before you were born. You think you're late because you're measuring yourself by the wrong clock. Let me paint you a picture. You know those traffic lights in Manhattan? You sit there at a red light, watching it, willing it to change. 5 seconds feels like 5 minutes. You start wondering if the light is broken, if you missed your turn, if you'll be stuck there forever while everyone else moves forward. But that light isn't broken. It's coordinated. There's a system you can't see, timing you don't understand, a pattern designed by someone who sees the whole city at once. You've been sitting at red so long, you forgot what green looks like. But heaven is about to flip that light, and when it does, you're going to move with an acceleration that makes up for every year you thought was wasted. This meeting God has scheduled with your name on it. It's not happening on Chronos time, it's happening on Kairos time. And that's why your spirit has been so restless lately. That's why you can't shake this feeling that something is about to shift. That's why you're watching this message right now, instead of scrolling past it like you usually do. Your soul recognizes Kairos before your mind does. But let me be brutally honest with you about something. The enemy knows what time it is too. Hell can read calendars. And right now, there's a demonic assignment specifically designed to convince you that you're too old, too tired, too broken, too late. Why? Because if the enemy can get you to give up right before your Kairos moment arrives, he wins. If he can convince you to quit 3 feet from the finish line, he doesn't have to fight you at the meeting God has already scheduled. That depression that's been heavier lately? That's not just old age. That's warfare. Those thoughts telling you to just coast until you die? That's not wisdom. That's a strategy to neutralize you before you step into what's been prepared for you. Listen to me carefully. You are not late. You are right on time for what God decided before you were born. Ecclesiastes 3:11 says God has made everything beautiful in its time. Not early, not late, in its time. Your time isn't measured by how many years you've lived. It's measured by how ready you are for what's coming next. And here's what I'm about to show you that will confirm everything I'm saying. There are specific signs, undeniable, biblical signs that this life-changing meeting is closer than you think. When I start naming those signs in the next few minutes, something in you is going to recognize your own life. You're going to say, "Wait, that's exactly what's been happening to me." Don't miss that part. Because what you're about to hear isn't theory. It's confirmation that your Kairos moment is already in motion. The question isn't whether the meeting is coming. The question is, will you be awake enough to recognize it when it arrives? You want to know why I'm so certain this meeting is real? Because I've read the entire book, beloved, cover to cover, Genesis to Revelation. And I'll tell you what I found. God doesn't do accidents. He does appointments. Let me take you somewhere. Close your eyes for just a moment and picture this with me. There's a widow named Ruth, foreign, broke, following behind harvesters in a barley field, picking up leftover grain just to survive another day. She's not dreaming anymore. She's not hoping for romance or rescue. She's just trying to make it to tomorrow without starving. But here's what Ruth didn't know that morning when she woke up on that hard mat, bones aching, stomach empty. That ordinary Tuesday was circled in red ink on heaven's calendar because the field she randomly chose, it belonged to a man named Boaz, a wealthy landowner, a kinsman redeemer, the man who would change her entire bloodline forever. Ruth chapter 2 verse 3 says something that should make your spirit tremble. As it turned out, she was working in a field belonging to Boaz, as it turned out. That phrase right there, that's God hiding his fingerprints all over your life. What looks like coincidence to human eyes is divine strategy to heaven's courts. Ruth wasn't looking for a husband. She was looking for scraps. But God was orchestrating a meeting that would put her in the lineage of Jesus Christ himself. One morning, one field, one life-changing encounter, and suddenly a widow from Moab becomes a grandmother to King David and an ancestor to the Messiah. Tell me something. What if the errand you think is ordinary tomorrow is actually your appointed field? What if that doctor's visit, that grocery store trip, that phone call you've been putting off, is the moment heaven has been engineering for months? But let me show you something even more powerful. There was an old man named Simeon. Luke chapter 2 tells us he was righteous and devout. But more than that, he had a promise. The Holy Spirit had revealed to him that he would not die before he saw the Lord's Messiah with his own eyes. Can you imagine carrying that promise, year after year, decade after decade, watching your body age, your friends pass away, your strength fade, every morning looking in the mirror at more gray hair, more wrinkles, more evidence that time is running out, and still no Messiah, still waiting, still believing a promise that looked more impossible with every sunrise? But one ordinary morning, something stirred in Simeon's spirit. The Holy Spirit moved him, not with thunder, not with angels, just a quiet nudge. Go to the temple today. And there, in the crowd of hundreds of people bringing babies for dedication, Simeon's ancient eyes locked onto a young couple from Nazareth holding an 8-day-old infant. And he knew. He took that baby in his weathered arms and declared words that would echo through eternity. Lord, now let your servant depart in peace, for my eyes have seen your salvation. Simeon was old, probably your age, maybe older. Most people had written him off. Poor old Simeon, still waiting for his miracle. But God's timing isn't early, and it's never late. It's always precise. Do you hear what I'm telling you? The God who kept his promise to an old man in Jerusalem is the same God who made you a promise you've been carrying for years. That promise didn't expire when you turned 70. It didn't become void when you buried your spouse. It didn't get cancelled when your children moved away. God doesn't forget his appointments. But here's where it gets personal for you, chosen one. Here's where this moves from ancient history to your living room. The God who arranged Ruth's steps to Boaz, directing her feet to that specific field, that specific row, that specific moment when Boaz would notice her, is still arranging steps. In Brooklyn, in Miami, in small towns across Kansas and Nebraska, in nursing homes and quiet apartments where people think God has forgotten their address. He hasn't forgotten. He's been planning. Every closed door that frustrated you was Him redirecting your path. Every delay that made you angry was Him perfecting the timing. Every disappointment that broke your heart was Him protecting you from the wrong meeting so you'd be available for the right one. You've been circling, beloved. Like Ruth walking those rows of barley, like Simeon walking to that temple, back and forth, day after day, wondering when your breakthrough would come. But what if I told you you weren't circling aimlessly? You were circling into position. The Bible says in Acts chapter 17, verse 26, "From one man He made all the nations, that they should inhabit the whole earth. And He marked out their appointed times in history and the boundaries of their lands." Appointed times, not random times, not lucky times. Appointed, pre-decided, pre-arranged, scheduled before the foundation of the world. Your meeting isn't coming because you earned it. It's coming because God decided it. And what God decides, hell cannot cancel. If you believe if something in your spirit is catching fire right now, I need you to say it out loud. Don't just think it, speak it. Do it again, Lord. Do it again in my life. What you did for Ruth, what you did for Simeon, do it again for me. Because the same God who writes appointments in heaven's calendar is holding a pen right now. And your name is on the next page. But here's what I need you to understand as we go deeper this meeting that's coming. It's not just going to bless you. It's going to reposition you for something you never saw coming. You want to know why your life has been so hard. You want to know why every time you got close to breakthrough, something came crashing down. Let me tell you something that's going to rewire everything you thought you knew about your struggles. The delays weren't random. The betrayals weren't coincidence. The sudden losses that knocked the wind out of your lungs at 2 a.m., those weren't just bad luck. The enemy saw something. He saw a glimpse of what this meeting would unlock in your life. And he panicked. Listen to me carefully, chosen one. Hell doesn't waste ammunition on people going nowhere. The devil doesn't deploy his best demons against someone who poses no threat to his kingdom. But you've been in his crosshairs since the day you were born. Think about your 70s, your 60s, maybe you're 80, 85 right now. How many people have you buried? How many friends did you think would be sitting on your porch with you in these golden years, and now their chairs are empty? You invested decades into people who walked away the moment you needed them most. That woman you called sister for 40 years? Gone. That man you built a business with, trusted with everything, betrayed you and never looked back. Your own children, the ones you sacrificed everything for, they're too busy now, too distant, too different. You thought it was your fault. You've spent years replaying conversations, wondering what you did wrong, questioning if you were too much or not enough. But what if I told you those severed connections weren't about your failure? What if they were strategic attacks to isolate you before your divine appointment? The enemy tried to cut every single line of connection that could lead you to the person, the place, or the opportunity God marked for you. He knew that if certain people stayed in your life, they'd be standing right beside you when heaven opened that door. So he severed the wires, cut the phone lines, burned the bridges. Job understood this. The Bible says in Job 1:10 that God had put a hedge of protection around Job, but then God allowed Satan to test him. Why? Because what came after the test was double everything Job lost. The attack wasn't punishment, it was preparation for unprecedented blessing. Your losses weren't the end of your story, They were hell's last-ditch effort to stop the next chapter. But here's what breaks my heart. You're sitting there right now thinking you're too old for God to use you anymore. You're thinking the best years are behind you, that divine appointments are for younger people with more energy, more time, more everything. Stop right there. Moses was 80 years old when God called him to the burning bush. 80. He'd already lived what most people consider a full life. But his greatest assignment, the one that would echo through eternity, started at an age when the world says you should be winding down. Abraham was 75 when God told him to pack up everything and move to a place he'd never seen. 75. No GPS, no retirement plan, no security, just a promise and a divine appointment waiting at the end of the journey. Anna the prophetess was 84 years old when she saw baby Jesus in the temple. 84 years of waiting, praying, believing, and in one moment, one divine encounter, her entire life made sense. Your age isn't your disqualification, it's your advantage. Because you carry something younger people don't have, you carry the weight of endurance. You know what it means to wait on God when everything looks impossible. You understand that His delays are not His denials. And that's exactly why the attacks have been so vicious. You lost your spouse. The person who knew you better than anyone, who held your hand through everything gone. And the loneliness that followed felt like drowning in an ocean with no shore in sight. You thought God had forgotten you in that grief. But what if that loss was making room for a meeting that requires your complete dependence on God? What if you had to learn to hear His voice clearly, without any other voice competing for your attention? You lost your health. Doctors gave you diagnoses that should have destroyed your hope. Pills on the nightstand, appointments on the calendar, pain that reminds you every morning that your body isn't what it used to be. You thought God was punishing you. But what if those health battles taught you that when your strength fails, His strength is made perfect? What if this meeting requires someone who knows how to stand when their flesh is weak, but their spirit is on fire? You lost your finances. Retirement didn't look like you planned. Social security doesn't stretch like it should. You're counting pennies when you thought you'd be counting blessings. You thought God wasn't providing. But what if that financial pressure taught you that your security isn't in a bank account? What if this meeting will connect you with someone who needs to see that God provides in impossible situations? 2 Corinthians 4:17 says, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory." Your affliction wasn't permanent. It was preparation. Every attack you survived was hell's attempt to kill you before the meeting. Every betrayal was designed to make you give up before the appointment. Every loss was meant to convince you that nothing good was coming. But you're still here. You're still breathing. You're still believing. And that terrifies the enemy, because he knows what you're just beginning to remember. This meeting is going to change everything, not just for you, but for everyone connected to your life. Your children who stopped calling, your grandchildren who barely know you, that neighbor who's been watching you from a distance, wondering if your faith is real. What if the worst 20 years of your life were actually the final resistance before a heaven-scheduled encounter that changes the next 20? In just a moment, I'm going to tell you exactly what to do when you finally stand in front of that person, that door, that room. Because it is coming. But first, you need to understand something that will shift everything. You know what nobody tells you about getting older? It's not the wrinkles that hurt the most. It's not even the aches in your bones that wake you up at 3 a.m. It's the looking back, the questions that haunt you in the quiet moments. Did I waste my time? Did God forget about me while I was struggling just to survive? Listen to me, chosen one. What if everything you thought was random suffering was actually divine curriculum? What if God has been preparing you brick by brick, tear by tear for a meeting so important that he couldn't trust it to someone who hadn't been broken open by life? You've been in the kiln, beloved, and I know it felt like punishment. I know there were nights you begged him to turn down the heat, to let you out, to give you a break. But here's what breaks my heart: you thought you were being destroyed when you were actually being set. Pottery doesn't become valuable in the showroom, it becomes valuable in the fire. The heat doesn't ruin it, the heat makes it permanent, makes it able to hold weight without cracking, makes it worthy of a king's table. You've been holding weight for decades now, haven't you? Weight that would have shattered lesser souls. You've carried grief that has no name. You've endured betrayals from people who were supposed to love you. You've survived financial storms that left you counting pennies at the grocery store, wondering if God even sees you anymore. But he saw you. Every single moment, he saw you. And while you were crying in your kitchen at midnight, while you were burying your spouse, or watching your children walk away, or facing that diagnosis that made your blood run cold, God was building something inside you that cannot be taught in a classroom or learned from a book. He was building wisdom, not the kind of wisdom that comes from reading, the kind that comes from walking through hell and choosing to forgive anyway, the kind that comes from losing everything and discovering that God is enough, the kind that makes younger people stop and listen when you speak because they sense you've been somewhere they're afraid to go. Proverbs 16:31 says, "Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life." That's not just poetry, dear one. That's a declaration. Every silver strand on your head is a trophy. Every line on your face is a map of battles you survived. You thought you were disqualified by your struggles. Heaven says you were refined by them. Think about Moses. For 40 years, he herded sheep in the wilderness. 40 years. Can you imagine? He probably thought his life was over. Probably believed his moment had passed. Probably looked at himself in that desert and whispered, "God, did I miss my calling?" But God was building something. Patience, humility, the ability to hear his voice above the noise, the strength to lead 2 million complainers through a desert without losing his mind. The Moses of Egypt, arrogant, impulsive, violent, couldn't have handled what God needed him to do. But the Moses of the wilderness, the one who'd been stripped down to nothing but dependence on God, that Moses could split seas. You see, the life-changing meeting that's coming for you, it requires a specific version of you, not the you of 20 years ago, not the you who still had something to prove, not the you who was still running on your own strength. It requires the you who's been humbled, the you who's learned to pray when praying felt pointless, the you who's discovered that God's grace really is sufficient even when nothing else is. The you of 20 years ago would have mishandled this meeting, would have taken the blessing and run, would have gotten proud, gotten careless, gotten distracted. But the you of today, you've cried too many tears to be careless now. You've lost too much to take anything for granted. You've walked too far with God to turn back now, and God knew that. He's always known that. 1 Peter 1:7 puts it plainly. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold, though your faith is far more precious than mere gold. Gold doesn't complain about the fire. It surrenders to it, because the fire doesn't destroy gold, it reveals it. Burns away everything that isn't gold until only the real thing remains. You are real gold, beloved. And every painful year, every impossible situation, every moment you wanted to quit but didn't, that was the fire burning away the fake, the surface, the shallow, until all that was left was the genuine article. But here's what I need you to understand right now, and this is crucial. God hasn't been preparing you just for your own sake. He's been preparing you for someone else's breakthrough. That wisdom you gained from decades of marriage, someone's about to need that. That patience you learned from years of unanswered prayers, someone's drowning in desperation. And you're the lifeline. That compassion you developed from your own suffering. There's a soul out there who won't make it without hearing your story. The meeting that's coming isn't just about you receiving. It's about you becoming a vessel, a carrier, a conduit of everything God has poured into you through all those years you thought He'd abandoned you. Take a second right now. I mean it. Think back over your story, not with shame, not with regret, but with different eyes. Where can you see preparation where you only saw pain? Where can you trace God's fingerprints in the very places you thought He was absent? Because I promise you, when this meeting finally happens, when heaven's calendar flips to your appointed day, you're going to look back and see that every single thing was necessary. Every tear watered seeds you couldn't see. Every closed door protected you from disasters you'll never know. Every delay was actually divine timing, holding you back until you were truly ready. You weren't forgotten, chosen one. You were being fashioned. But how do you know when the meeting is actually close? How do you recognize the signs that heaven's calendar is about to land on your date? That's what I need to tell you next. Because there are shifts happening right now in your spirit, in your circumstances, in the atmosphere around your life that you might be missing. Little tremors before the earthquake, small whispers before the shout. And if you don't know what to look for, you could stand right at the door of your divine appointment and not even recognize its opening. You know what nobody tells you about divine appointments? They don't announce themselves with trumpets and angels singing hallelujah. They announce themselves through disruption, through chaos, through things falling apart in ways that make absolutely no sense. And right now, some of you are sitting there thinking your life is unraveling. But what if I told you it's not unraveling at all? What if it's being rewired? Let me show you the signs heaven leaves behind when your meeting is close. And I'm warning you right now, if you recognize even one of these, everything you thought was going wrong is actually going exactly right. Sign number 1, holy restlessness. There's an ache in your chest that won't go away. Your morning coffee tastes different. Your favorite TV show doesn't hold your attention anymore. Church feels hollow. Not because God left, but because something in you is outgrowing where you are. You've been in the same routine for 20, 30, 40 years. Same house, same streets, same people. But lately, you feel like a stranger in your own life. Like you're wearing clothes that don't fit anymore. That's not depression, beloved. That's divine dissatisfaction. When God is about to move you, He makes you uncomfortable where you are. Exodus 3-7 says, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, and have heard their cry. Before God delivered Israel, He made Egypt unbearable. He stirred their spirits until staying put became more painful than stepping out. If you can't sit still anymore, if your soul is pacing like a caged lion, that's sign 1. Sign number 2. Strategic closures. Doors you depended on are slamming shut. That part-time job you needed? Gone. That friend you thought would always be there? Silent. That church you served faithfully for decades suddenly feels like the wrong fit. And you're panicking, thinking God has abandoned you. But listen to me carefully. God doesn't close doors to punish you. He closes doors to position you. Think about Lot's wife in Genesis 19. The angels literally had to drag Lot's family out of Sodom because they were comfortable in a city marked for destruction. Sometimes God has to burn your bridges so you can't run back to what's killing you. Every closed door is heaven saying, not there, not anymore. I need you somewhere else for what's coming. If your life feels like doors are closing faster than you can knock on new ones, that's sign 2. Sign number 3. Supernatural protection. You wanted something so badly you could taste it. That relationship, that opportunity, that answer to prayer. You begged God for it, cried for it, fasted for it, and He said no. It crushed you. You felt rejected, forgotten, punished. But now, months or years later, you look back and whisper, "Oh my God, if I had gotten what I wanted, it would have destroyed me." Proverbs 19:21 says, "Many are the plans in a person's heart, but it is the Lord's purpose that prevails." What you thought was God ignoring you was actually God protecting you. That person who walked away, they would have delayed your meeting. That job you didn't get, it would have kept you in the wrong city. That door that wouldn't open, behind it was a trap disguised as a blessing. If you can look back and see where God's no saved your life, that's sign 3. Sign number 4. Prophetic connections. You're meeting people you have no business meeting. Strangers in grocery stores who say things that pierce your soul. Old acquaintances reaching out after years of silence. Conversations that feel less like coincidence and more like divine setup. And these people, they're living the future you've been praying for. They've walked roads you're about to walk. They carry wisdom you're about to need. Proverbs 27:17 says, "As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another." When your meeting is near, God starts sending you the people who will prepare you for it. If your circle is changing without you trying to change it, that's sign 4. Sign number 5. Heightened spiritual sensitivity. Things that never bothered you before suddenly grieve you. A commercial makes you cry. A song on the radio feels like prophecy. You wake up at 3 a.m. with someone's name on your heart, and you pray without knowing why. Your spirit is waking up, beloved. Joel 2:28 says, "I will pour out my spirit on all people. Your old men will dream dreams. Your young men will see visions." When God is preparing you for a divine encounter, He turns up the volume on your spiritual senses. If you're seeing clearer, feeling deeper, hearing louder, that's sign 5. Now let me tell you what all 5 signs mean when they show up together. It means the air pressure is changing. You know how the sky gets heavy before a storm, how animals sense earthquakes before humans do. That's what's happening in your spirit right now. If your life has felt like holy disruption, not comfortable, not stable, not predictable, it might not be punishment. It might be heaven rearranging your steps, so you'll be standing in the right place, at the right time, for the right meeting. The question burning in your chest right now is this: if the signs are real, if the meeting is close, who exactly are you about to meet? Listen to me, chosen one. God's about to open a door you've been praying for since Nixon was president. But here's what terrifies me. You might walk through it carrying the wrong baggage. Let me tell you something nobody warned me about when I was your age. The biggest tragedy in life isn't missing your divine appointment. It's showing up to your divine appointment as the wrong version of yourself. You know what I'm talking about. That version of you that's still dragging every disappointment like a ball and chain. That version that walks into new rooms but brings old rejections. That version that finally meets the mentor, the opportunity, the divine connection God arranged and poisons it with bitterness from 1987. I've watched it happen 100 times. God orchestrates a miracle meeting, lines up the right person at the right time, in the right place, and the chosen one walks in wearing their wounds like a uniform, speaking their pain like a native language, and wonders why nothing changes. Here's the brutal truth. You cannot drag your rejected self into your appointed meeting and expect resurrection. Think about the woman at the well in John chapter 4. 5 failed marriages, a 6th man who wouldn't even marry her. She came to that well in the heat of the day because she was avoiding everybody. Shame was her shadow. Rejection was her perfume. But when Jesus showed up, when her life-changing meeting arrived, something shifted. She didn't rehearse her resume of failures. She didn't perform her pain. She listened. She asked questions. She let herself be seen without the armor. And that conversation changed her entire city. Now I need you to hear this with everything in you. When your meeting comes, and it's coming, you've got to show up as your healed self, not your rejected self, not the you that's been abandoned, the you that's been chosen, not the you that's been forgotten, the you that God never stopped thinking about. But here's where it gets practical. Here's where the rubber meets the road on Madison Avenue. First, listen more than you talk. I know you've got 70 years of stories. I know you've survived things that would break younger people, but life-changing meetings are often more about what you hear than what you say. God didn't arrange this appointment so you could perform. He arranged it so you could receive. Proverbs 18:13 says it plain. He who answers before listening, that is his folly and his shame. Don't be so busy proving you belong in the room that you miss what the room is trying to give you. Second, don't worship the person. Honor the God behind the moment. This is where so many chosen ones stumble. God sends a mentor, a partner, a divine connection, and we turn them into an idol. We make them our savior instead of recognizing them as our assignment. That doctor who finally listens to you, that's not luck. That financial advisor who actually cares about your fixed income, that's not coincidence. That neighbor who shows up when you're alone, that's heaven's deployment. But don't worship them. Honor the God who positioned them. Third, stay humble, but not small. There's a difference, beloved. Humility says I need help. Smallness says I have nothing to offer. When you walk into that meeting, don't pretend you're empty. You've got 70, 80, 90 years of wisdom. You've survived wars, some on foreign soil, some in your own living room. You carry something they need. Listen to me like your life depends on it, because it does. This meeting isn't casual coffee at the diner on 42nd Street. This is spiritual triage. How you respond in the first 5 minutes will determine whether this becomes a divine turning point or just another conversation you forget by Thursday. Think of it like a bridge. God's not just giving you a person, He's giving you a bridge to a new season. But bridges only work if you actually cross them. If you stand on your side rehearsing why you don't deserve to cross, the bridge was wasted. Moses stood at a burning bush for minutes before he stopped making excuses. Who am I? I can't speak well. They won't believe me. And God kept saying, I will be with you. Finally, Moses took off his shoes and stepped into his assignment. Your meeting is coming. The question burning in heaven's throne room right now is this: will you show up ready to receive or ready to rehearse? Because in just a moment, I'm going to speak over you prophetically. I'm going to talk to you like this meeting is already on your calendar, because in heaven, it is. I'm going to pray like the door is already opening, because in the spiritual realm, it's already cracked. But first, you need to decide. What version of yourself are you bringing to that room? Chosen one, I need you to hear something that's going to shake the foundations of every doubt you've been carrying. You will not leave this earth without seeing why God kept you alive. Read that again. Let it sink into the marrow of your bones. You didn't survive that heart attack by accident. You didn't make it through that surgery because of good doctors alone. You didn't wake up this morning because your body decided to keep going. You're still here because heaven has unfinished business with your name on it. A life-changing meeting is not maybe coming. It is already decided, not pending, not under review, not waiting for you to get your act together or pray harder or become more worthy. The decision has already been made in the courts of eternity, and the verdict is mercy. Listen to what Jeremiah 29:11 says. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Did you catch that? I know the plans, present tense, active. Right now, God isn't making plans for you, He already has them. The meeting is scheduled, the date is set, the person is chosen, but here's what's been eating at you, isn't it? You look around your life and you wonder if you've been forgotten. Maybe you're a widow sitting in the same chair your husband used to sit in, talking to his picture because there's nobody else to talk to. Maybe you're a widower who hasn't cooked a real meal in 3 years, because what's the point when you're eating alone? Maybe you're estranged from children who moved to California or Texas or somewhere that feels like another planet, and the phone doesn't ring anymore except for spam calls and doctor's offices. Maybe you're in a small apartment where the walls close in a little more every day. Or maybe you're in a care facility where the staff is kind, but nobody really knows you. Nobody knows the stories you carry, the life you lived, the person you used to be before time stole your strength. I see you. God sees you. And He's about to prove it. Close your eyes for just a moment. I want you to see something with your spirit. Picture yourself sitting across a table from someone. You don't know who yet, but you can feel their presence. Maybe it's a reconciliation you thought was impossible, a child who finally comes home, a sibling who finally calls, a friend you thought you'd lost forever. Maybe it's a stranger heaven is sending with an opportunity, a solution, a lifeline you didn't even know you needed. Maybe you're signing papers that change your situation. Maybe you're shaking hands with someone who says, "God told me to find you." Can you see it? Can you feel it stirring in your chest? That's not wishful thinking, beloved. That's prophetic vision. That's your spirit recognizing what heaven has already set in motion. Think about it like this. Imagine you're in a courtroom. You've been on trial for years, haven't you? The enemy has been the prosecutor, listing every failure, every mistake, every moment you fell short. And you've been sitting there, head down, thinking, "He's right. I don't deserve anything good. It's too late for me." But then the judge stands up, and it's not some angry deity with a gavel of punishment. It's your Father. And he looks at the prosecutor and says, "Overruled. Case dismissed. This one is mine, and I've already decided their future." The gavel comes down. Case closed. Heaven says, "You will not die unfulfilled." Romans 8:28 declares, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Not some things, all things. Every lonely night, every unanswered prayer, every disappointment, every moment you thought God had moved on without you, He was working, building, orchestrating, setting up the meeting that's about to change everything. But here's what hell doesn't want you to know. Here's why the enemy has fought so hard to keep you isolated, depressed, convinced you're finished, because he knows something you're just now beginning to remember. God decided to keep you. When that illness should have taken you out, God decided to keep you. When that accident should have been fatal, God decided to keep you. When that depression whispered, "Give up," in the middle of the night, God decided to keep you. God decided to protect you. From wrong relationships that would have derailed you, from opportunities that looked good but would have destroyed you, from paths that seemed right but led to dead ends. God decided to schedule this meeting. Not next year, not someday. Soon. Closer than you think. While you've been sitting in your living room wondering if life has anything left to offer, heaven has been coordinating calendars, moving people into position, arranging circumstances, preparing the person who's about to walk into your story. And no demon in hell gets a vote in a decision God already signed. You hear me? The enemy can delay, he can distract, he can discourage, but he cannot cancel what God has decreed. Your meeting is stamped with divine authority, sealed with the blood of Jesus, and backed by the word of the Almighty, who cannot lie. If your spirit is trembling right now, if something deep inside you is saying, "Yes, this is real," I want you to whisper it. Say it out loud where you're sitting. "I agree with heaven's decision over my life." Say it. Let your voice break the silence. Let your words shake the atmosphere. Because what happens next is going to require your agreement. God has decided yes. But now He's waiting for you to stop arguing with His decision and start aligning with it. So let me ask you something that's going to determine everything. Are you ready to stop believing the lie that your best days are behind you and start preparing for the meeting that's about to change your entire future? Beloved chosen one, we've walked a long road together tonight. You've felt things you thought were dead. You've remembered things you tried to forget. And now, before I release you into what God has prepared, I need to pray over you with the authority of someone who has watched the Almighty keep His word for 5 decades. But first, let me tell you something that might sting. Prayer without action is just religious noise. Faith without footsteps is fantasy. So what I'm about to give you isn't just a blessing, it's your marching orders. Right now, wherever you are, I want you to place your hand on your chest. Feel that heartbeat? That's not biology. That's divine rhythm. That's the sound of a life God isn't finished with. Heavenly Father, I come before your throne carrying every soul who has stayed with me until this moment. Lord, you see them. The grandmother in Miami who's been invisible to her own children, the widower in Buffalo who eats dinner alone every night, the retired teacher in Los Angeles who wonders if her life mattered at all. God, I pray for divine alignment right now. Align their steps with heaven's calendar. Synchronize their days with your divine appointments. Let every morning they wake up be confirmation that the meeting is getting closer. Father, I pray against the enemy of fear. That voice that whispers, "You're too old, too late, too damaged." Silence it. I pray against self-sabotage, that destructive pattern of pulling back right when breakthrough is within reach. Break it. I pray against shame from their past, every mistake, every failure, every moment they wish they could erase. Cover it with the blood of Jesus. And Lord, I pray specifically over their next meeting, whether it's a doctor who will give them hope instead of a death sentence, a lawyer who will fight for them when they've lost everything, a pastor who will see their gift when everyone else saw their age, a neighbor who will become family, a stranger in a grocery store who will speak a word that changes their trajectory, or anyone who will simply hold their hand and say, "You matter." God, prepare that meeting. Soften hearts before they meet. Remove obstacles that would cause them to miss each other. Give my beloved ones the right words to say, the courage to stay, and the wisdom to recognize divine appointments when they're standing right in front of them. In Jesus' mighty name, I seal this prayer. Amen. Now listen to me carefully. This week, not next month, not when you feel ready this week, I need you to do something radical. Every single morning when you open your eyes, before you check your phone, before you turn on the TV, before you do anything else, whisper these 3 words. Order my steps. That's it. 3 words. But those 3 words have moved mountains, parted seas, and changed destinies. Then pay attention. God speaks in nudges, not billboards. You'll feel a sudden urge to call someone you haven't spoken to in years. Make that call. You'll think about a place you haven't been to in decades. Go there. You'll remember someone you need to forgive. Do it. These aren't random thoughts, they're divine directions. Your meeting isn't going to announce itself with trumpets and angels. It's going to feel ordinary until you look back and realize it was orchestrated by heaven. If this message tonight has been a mirror for your soul, if these words have touched places you thought were dead, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who's been waiting a long time, someone who needs to know that God still schedules meetings for people the world has written off. And leave your testimony in the comments below. Tell me what God spoke to you tonight. I read every single one. I pray over them. This isn't just a channel, it's a family of people who refuse to believe that God is finished with them. Hit that subscribe button and stay close, because what I'm building here isn't content, it's community. A tribe of chosen ones who understand that your last chapter can be your greatest chapter. Before I let you go, I need you to hear this one final truth, and I need you to let it sink into your bones. You are not an accident. You are not an afterthought. You are not a leftover from a generation God has moved past. There is a life-changing meeting on heaven's calendar. The date is set, the location is marked, the person is prepared, and the ink that wrote your name on that appointment has already dried. Nothing can erase it. No delay can cancel it. No devil in hell can postpone it. So walk out of here tonight like someone God has decided to meet. Hold your head like royalty, speak like authority, move like purpose, because that's who you are. Your meeting is closer than you think. And when it happens, you'll look back on this moment and realize this is where everything changed. Go in peace. Go in power. Go in the absolute certainty that heaven is moving on your behalf. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, remember, you are chosen. You are seen. You are about to meet the divine appointment that rewrites your story. God bless you mightily, beloved. The meeting is coming, and so is your breakthrough.